President Donald Trump's announcement that new H-1B visa applications will now cost an unprecedented $100,000 each has unleashed a political, economic, and cultural earthquake across North America and beyond. Welcome viewers to my channel. Please subscribe, like my video and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next update. For American businesses that have long relied on the program to fill critical labor shortages, the fee represents more than a financial hurdle, it is a near-total barrier to entry. For skilled workers abroad, it signals the abrupt closing of a door that for decades symbolized opportunity. And for countries like Canada, it may represent the single greatest chance in a generation to redefine their place in the global competition for talent. This policy change is not an isolated event. It fits into a larger narrative of shifting national priorities, rising economic nationalism, and growing competition between nations for the world's brightest minds. To fully grasp its consequences, it's necessary to step back and understand the history of the H-1B visa, the motives behind Trump's decision, the immediate fallout in the US, and the new global landscape that is rapidly emerging. The H-1B visa was created in 1990, a product of the Immigration Act signed by President George H.W. Bush. The program was designed as a specialty occupation visa, allowing U.S. companies to hire foreign workers in roles that required highly specialized knowledge. Early beneficiaries were engineers, scientists, and IT professionals, but over time the program expanded to include physicians, researchers, architects, and financial analysts. At its peak, the U.S. issued 85,000 new H-1B visas annually, with demand so high that the government often received more than 200,000 applications in a single year. Tech giants like Google, Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, and Facebook became the program's largest sponsors. For many international students graduating from top U.S. universities, the H-1B was the only viable path to stay in the country legally and pursue careers aligned with their training. But from the beginning, the program has been politically contentious. Critics argue that it depresses wages for American workers and allows companies to outsource jobs under the guise of skill shortages. Supporters counter that it is a vital tool for maintaining U.S. leadership in innovation, particularly in fields where domestic talent pipelines fall short. Trump's fee hike is the most radical reform in the program's history. While previous administrations debated caps, lottery rules, and fraud prevention, none had proposed a barrier so extreme that it effectively excludes all but the wealthiest applicants and corporations. On the surface, the justification is simple: prioritize American workers. Trump has long argued that foreign professionals take jobs away from U.S. citizens. By making the visa prohibitively expensive, his administration claims companies will be forced to hire domestically. But the timing and scale of the increase suggest a deeper political calculation. With an election cycle looming, Trump is doubling down on economic nationalism, a theme that helped fuel his rise in 2016. Targeting the H-1B allows him to present himself as the defender of American workers while simultaneously tapping into anxieties about globalization, outsourcing, and immigration. Yet experts question whether the strategy will work as intended. This isn't about saving American jobs, said economist Priya Desai. It's about reshaping the narrative. In reality, companies will not suddenly find thousands of US-born data scientists or biomedical engineers. They'll either move operations abroad or look to friendlier countries. That means fewer jobs in America, not more. The response from US businesses has been swift and alarmed. Tech companies, already facing fierce competition for talent, warn that the new fee will cripple their ability to recruit globally. Startups, which often rely on a handful of international hires to drive innovation, say the policy could wipe them out. Talent is the lifeblood of innovation, said one startup founder in San Francisco. We built our company around engineers from India, China, and Eastern Europe who came here after studying in the US. With this new fee, it's game over for us. Even larger firms are not immune. While companies like Google and Amazon could, in theory, absorb the cost, doing so at scale is unsustainable. For a corporation hiring 500 H-1B workers in a year, the fee increase translates into $50 million in upfront costs, before salaries, benefits, and relocation expenses. The educational sector is also bracing for impact. For decades, U.S. universities have attracted international students with the promise of world-class education followed by career opportunities through the H-1B. Now, With that pathway effectively blocked, international enrollment may decline, threatening the financial stability of institutions already struggling with shrinking domestic populations. While the US closes its doors, Canada is preparing to roll out the welcome mat. The reaction north of the border has been one of opportunity. Prime Minister Mark Carney's remarks in New York underscored Canada's awareness of the moment. "We have extraordinary talent at home," he said. "But historically, much of it has gone south. With the US changing course, we must ensure that Canada is the destination where talent can thrive." Immigration advocates agree. Evan Green, a Toronto-based lawyer, called the US decision a once-in-a-generation chance for Canada to position itself as a global leader in skilled immigration. The nonprofit Build Canada urged the government to act immediately and decisively, arguing that Canada's proximity, cultural alignment, and reputation for openness make it the most natural alternative. Canada's Global Talent Stream, a fast-track visa introduced in 2017, already allows companies to bring in specialized workers in as little as 2 weeks. Coupled with permanent residency pathways and a strong emphasis on multiculturalism, Canada presents a stark contrast to America's increasingly hostile stance. Yet Canada's opportunity is not without hurdles. Immigration experts point out that Canada's system, though admired globally, is not designed to absorb a massive, sudden surge of applicants. Processing backlogs already frustrate skilled workers, and housing affordability in cities like Toronto and Vancouver poses real obstacles for newcomers. Moreover, while Canada's tech sector is growing, it does not yet match the scale of Silicon Valley. Many foreign professionals may hesitate to relocate unless they see clear long-term career opportunities. Without significant investment from both government and industry, Canada risks drawing in talent only to see it frustrated or underutilized. The implications of Trump's H-1B decision extend far beyond North America. Countries like Germany, Australia, and Singapore have been aggressively courting skilled immigrants, offering streamlined pathways, tax incentives, and startup support. If the US no longer dominates as the default destination, these nations could see a surge in applications. India and China, two of the largest sources of H-1B applicants, may also benefit indirectly. Some workers denied access to the US may choose to stay home, fueling the growth of domestic tech ecosystems. This could accelerate the rise of competing innovation hubs, challenging America's dominance in industries it once led. The irony is that Canadians themselves have historically been modest users of the H-1B program, making up just about 1% of applicants in 2019. Yet many Canadian professionals have leveraged the visa to gain experience in the US before returning home with valuable expertise. With the new fee structure, that pipeline may close, forcing more Canadians to build their careers domestically. Some see this as a net positive, keeping Canadian talent at home. Others warn that limiting cross-border mobility could reduce opportunities for Canadians to gain exposure to larger markets and cutting-edge projects. Ultimately, Trump's H-1B fee hike may be remembered less for its immediate consequences and more for the signal it sends. For decades, the United States marketed itself as the global destination for ambition and innovation. Now, by making entry prohibitively expensive, it risks surrendering that role to others. Canada, with its open immigration policies and growing tech hubs, stands ready to benefit, but only if it can act quickly and decisively. The same is true for other nations that see talent as the engine of future prosperity. As the world adapts to this new reality, one fact becomes increasingly clear: in the 21st century, talent is the most valuable resource a nation can possess. By raising barriers instead of lowering them, the US may have just given its competitors a historic